Hey everyone, today we are going to be talking about Module 1, Lesson 4A, and we're going to talk about the first part. Now that we have graphed ratio relationships, we are going to compare ratio relationships on the graph. So in this problem, we are going to be looking at three different companies. So I've got Company A, Company B, and Company C. And it says ratios for ingredients in dog food vary among companies that manufacture it. Company A advertises 25 grams of protein for every cup of dog food. And then it says create a table of values for Company A below. And that's what we worked on yesterday. So we worked on being able to put that ratio in the table and then continue the pattern. So it says Company A advertises 25 grams of protein for every cup of dog food. So for every 1 cup of dog food, I've got 25 grams of protein. And I'm going to continue this pattern. So plus 1, be 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to add 25, which would be 50, 75, and then 100. Then it says the ratios for the other two companies, are given in the table and the graph. So here's my table, and here's my graph. So Company B has this ratio, and then Company C, the ratio is already on the graph. And then the question that we're trying to answer is which company has the greatest ratio of grams of protein to cups of dog food. So when I look at each of these companies, which one has the greatest ratio? Which one has the most protein in their cup of dog food? So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of this information that we already have and we're going to graph all three companies on the same graph. So down here, it says that Company C is already done for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over Company C in green. So Company C is this one. I'm going to use a little bit darker green, actually. There we go. I'm going to connect these dots just so I can see how they're connected together, and I'm going to put a little C on it, so I'm going to label it. Excuse me. I'm going to do Company A in the pink color that I highlighted it in. So I'm going to do 125. Now again, remember when they're in the middle, you just have to be close. So 25 is in between 20 and 30. 250 is going to be here. 3 and then 75 is going to be between 70 and 80. And then 100 is going to be at the tippy top. Again, I'm going to connect those dots. And this is going to be Company A. And I'm just connecting them so that I can see how, which points are related to each other. Then Company B says 2 to 44. Well, 44 is in between 40 and 50. 3 is going to be 66, which is in between 60 and 70. And then 4 up at 88 is going to be in between 80 and 90. And then I've got my line here for Company B. Now these ones happen to be in order ABC, and that's okay. It's not purposeful. It's just how the ratios happen to work out. But now that we've got all three of these companies graphed on the same graph, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Now that I've got all these companies graphed on the same graph, I can see which one has the greatest ratio by which one is going up the fastest. Well, if I look at these three, this line right here, the pink one or the purple one, is going up the fastest. So when I answer the question, which company has the greatest ratio of grams of protein to cups of dog food, I'm going to say Company A, because that line is on top. Okay, that is example 1. We're going to go to the next page and look at example 2. So we're going to look at something very similar, but now instead of talking about dog food, we're talking about pizza. It says Pizza Hut advertises that for every 12 inches of pizza, there are 24 pepperoni. So here is my first ratio. Then it says create a table to represent the ratio of pepperoni to pizza size for Pizza Hut. And then I've got my Pizza Hut table right here. So I've got 12 inches of pizza and 24 pepperoni. And then I'm going to have 24 and 48 and then 36 and 72 and 48 and I'm actually going to change this one. And I've got 12 and 24. And when I look at my graph over here, I can see that it doesn't go super high. So I'm actually going to divide these by 2. So I've got 6 and then 12, and then I'm going to divide by 2 again. And I get 3 and 6. Just to make them fit on the graph, I'm going to divide them this time. It doesn't always work out that way, but sometimes when the values are bigger and we can see that they're not going to fit on the graph very nicely, it does make sense to scale backwards a couple of times. And then it says the relationship of pepperoni to inches of pizza for 2 other pizzerias is shown in the table and the graph. So just like before, I've got the pizza place and I've got slice of pie. And we're going to put all 3 of them on the same graph to answer the question, which pizzeria advertises the greatest ratio of pepperoni to pizza size? So I've already got the pizza place on the graph. And again, I'm going to color those ones in green because they're already there. Oops. I want a pen, not highlighter. So here's my pizza place. And then for Pizza Hut, I'm going to use the blue here. And I've got 12 and 24. 6 and 12 is going to be here. And then 3 and 6 is going to be in there. So I can connect those dots. This is Pizza Hut. And then for slice of pie, I've got 10 and 15, 12 and 18, and then 14 and 21. And this is going to be slice of pie. This one is a little bit less misleading because it doesn't have A, B, and C, so we don't have to worry about things going in order, quote unquote, in order. But now we are truly just looking at who is the greatest ratio of pepperonis to the size of the pizza. And in this case, it is going to be Pizza Palace. So when I come down here and answer the question, it's going to be Pizza Palace. Now this one is a special case with this type of table where I have to kind of scale backwards a little bit. This is not a normal situation that we would try to use. We would try to stick to ones where you have to just scale forward like we did in the first one where we just filled in the table by following the ratio pattern. This one, because of the way the graph is set up, we want to make sure that all of our ratios fit. And in order to make our ratios fit, we used the scaling down factor. Okay. We are going to practice comparing these ratios. So you guys are going to do some practice of this on your own today. And hopefully we will feel pretty good about being able to graph and decide which graph is going up at the fastest rate.